Happy Thursday, happy Thursday. Good afternoon. Let's see. We'll just say, yep, it's Thursday. I just said that. Good afternoon. It is afternoon here on the West Coast. Just waiting for everything to settle in, get people in. Just waiting for everybody to check in. I don't think notifications are going out for many places. It looks like, let's see. I'm not sure. I'm probably on the list of worst enemies these days as well too. So just like BCP. So good morning, good afternoon, good afternoon. It's morning for me all the time. So we'll just put that out there. Hey guys, I wanted to come on and talk about something that's pretty common and give some encouragement regarding that, because I know I'm not the only one in this situation on this train. So we'll just wait for a few people to come on here. Let me get the chat open. There you are. Hey guys. Hello, hello. No video, low audio. Okay. Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better? Let me know how it sounds. That's a little bit of echo there. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Let me know how it sounds on your end so I can get it all figured out. $4.49 a gallon. Oh my gosh. Whew. I thought we had it bad when we were out in Idaho paying $3.99. Oh yeah, I forgot about mods. Yes, that is that is a good idea. Goodness gracious. Hope you guys are having a safe trip, Julie. Okay, sounds good. Good. I'm glad. Thank you for that. Verification. I'm not going to be able to get mods on here right now. Let's see here. I forget that people want to act crazy on all these platforms. Okay, we'll have to figure that out. Okay, guys, so let me get started. So there's something that's, first of all, as a conservative, we have lots of opposition. Obviously, there's these two sides of the fence. There's Republican, there's Democrat, there's conservative, there's liberal, right? And then we've got all these kind of like little branches of people who are kind of like a mixture of those two things, like different mixtures, like cups of coffee, you know? We all come a little bit different. So, but those are the two main branches. And it's interesting because you can be a conservative, you can be a liberal, but if you are a black conservative, all of a sudden it kind of opens up this really weird, you know, racist rhetoric. Like you're betraying your people, you know, you're a token, you you're an Uncle Tom, you're a bootlicker, you're a house Negro. Like all of these things start flying out if you're a black conservative or if you're voting Republican. And so I kind of wanted to talk about that because, you know, a lot of people, now that my voice is out there and people are seeing my position, apparently somehow it's changed who I am, which I've been the same person all this time. It's just that as long as you're not speaking and you're not sharing your beliefs, then they don't have anything to say. You're a totally fine person as long as you're not expressing your beliefs. And so now that I'm all these kinds of things, which is fine. You know, I don't want anybody to ever feel bad about the darts that are coming at me, because we have to remember that even in slavery, there were those black individuals who were selling people into slavery, you know, so you're always going to have those people. And, you know, they don't hate me. They don't know me. What they hate is my freedom. They hate my free mind. They hate my free expression. They hate that, you know, I'm confident and I'm comfortable in who I am, that I see myself as an equal, that, you know, I am free of the bondage that holds people back. Like, I don't have that. You know, I'm free of fear. I don't care. And that's really what people hate. And that's not just with me. It's with any black conservative. That's really what, because I've talked a lot about the white liberals, but, you know, the black liberals are not much better to black conservatives. You know, we get called every name in the book, you know, so, and things you really don't even want to repeat because they're so bad, you know? And so it's interesting because I read a comment yesterday that said, when they're done with you, you'll be the first ones to go, meaning me and another minority. But here's the problem is, how can I be used if this is what I want? Like, I'm getting what I want, so how can I be used? It's kind of an odd thing. So I kind of wanted to go down through a couple of things. Like, for instance, I don't agree with abortion. I believe that life begins at conception. I believe that all human life is valuable at every stage of life. I'm not anti-God. I'm not into the Klan. Like, that's not a thing for me. Like, I'm totally anti-Klan. The white people dressed up in black, terrorizing minorities, and really all people who disagree with them. Like, I'm not into Klan activity. I'm not into virtue signaling and CRT. Like, those are all very liberal beliefs and way of life. Like, I don't agree with that. I am a pro-God, pro-man, pro-dad, pro-chivalry, pro-country, pro-amendments, pro-school choice, pro-education. I don't think that white supremacy is the biggest thing that's facing minority America today. I think it's fatherless homes, government overreach, abortion, and education issues. Like, those are the things that I think are the biggest problems facing minority Americans today. And so those are the things that I actually believe in. I believe in religious rights. Like, there's so many things that I believe in. So how can I be used when this is what I want? I don't want anti-God. I don't want Klan activity. I don't want CRT. I don't want any of that. So if I was to be a liberal or go on to the left, I wouldn't be getting anything that I wanted. Now, that's called being used. That's the definition of being used. When I can't go for my own beliefs because of the color of my skin, I have to fight for somebody else's beliefs. That is being used. And black liberals need to figure that out. I'm not being used. I'm fighting for what I want, for the values and the morals that are important to me. And because they're different than yours doesn't make me less of a person. It doesn't make me a bootlicker. I mean, what are you talking about? It doesn't, you're just like the liberals who won't engage in conversation with me. There's no logic behind your arguments. So, I wanted to point out that white supremacy is being weaponized right now. It's not even, I'm not going to say there aren't racist individuals in our country. Of course there are. There are everywhere, in every country. Sorry, I feel really short. There's going to be racist people in every corner of this globe because there's corners in circles. Not really, but you know what I mean. There's going to be racist individuals in every race, every creed, every color, every country. They're everywhere, right? But on this soil, white supremacy is being used as a weapon because people are walking around so clueless and so drunk on what the media has spoon-fed them that they will literally argue you with no facts whatsoever. And so if somebody says, well, this happened, and somebody says, okay, but they were a white supremacist group, oh, well, then they deserved it. That's their first reaction to you. It's the knee-jerk reaction. It's the right response to a degree. Because if it really was a white supremacist group, then we would all agree that, no, that shouldn't be allowed. I mean, that's not okay. But, I mean, we don't want to off them because we can win them. We can help them see a different way of life, a different way of thinking. Because a lot of people who are racist, it's kind of a thing that is passed on and they don't know any better. And so, I've told the story of Daryl Davis who befriended a grand wizard and they became lifelong friends, and he's befriended, I think he's converted, and he doesn't actually take credit for converting them. He says that they convert themselves, but it's by the way that he does it and he befriends them that these people, their way of thinking changes. So they don't like him because of the color of his skin, but they can't really even tell you why. And so he goes in there and he befriends them, and he's like befriended, 200 some, clan members who have converted and left that way of life and that way of thinking. So we don't just go offing white supremacists because you never know what can happen if you start and you engage in this conversation with them, and you never know why they even think the way that they do. So there's all this opportunity, right? So even if somebody says, okay, they're white supremacists, that doesn't mean, okay, go throw bombs at them and get them off this planet, because that's not the way it should work. But it's being weaponized now. And so people are walking around clueless. They don't have any idea what's going on. Somebody says they're white supremacists and they're like, oh yeah, take them out, and it's not okay. That's not the way this should work. So I am fully willing to stand by my fellow white counterparts, unashamed, like literally unashamed. I have no problem standing next to my white peers the way that Martin Luther King Jr.'s white peers stood next to him, because we're in this fight together, because we are one human race, because all of our lives matter, because we fight with each other, we fight for each other. That's the way we should be doing this. We should be hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, holding the line. That's what we should be doing together. And so if you're a white supremacist, okay, let's talk about it. I want to know why. What's going on? What is it about me that you really don't like? I bet you'll find out that, if you really don't like me, it's not going to have anything to do with the color of my skin. You're not going to like me because something about my character. Now, that's okay. Go for it. I don't like tons of people because of their character, because they're weird or they do something that, is just not, we don't mesh, And I know this to be a fact. I feel like am I like super loud? I feel like I can hear. Okay, so this is a super sidetrack, but I have like a condition. I've never been diagnosed or anything, but I've looked it up. and I don't like to listen to people chew or breathe. And I have like an overreaction, an overly extreme emotional reaction to it. And so I can hear myself, like my mouth, and it's grossing me out. So I don't know if you can hear it, and I'm like, I don't want somebody out there with the same condition I have. It's kind of a funny thing, but it really is a condition. I've just never been diagnosed. So I'm just saying that for myself. But anyways, yeah. So, it's one of those things where we should be fighting this fight together. And I just heard the other day, I was at a school board meeting and somebody was explaining to me, this school board is so corrupt. It's horrible. The Washougal district in Washington, their school board is so corrupt. It's so disgusting. And they are weaponizing white supremacy. They are bringing people into meetings, one-on-one meetings. They're calling them white supremacists, and they're putting it out there and ruining their reputations. And, if we're going to have these vigilantes out there thinking that they're taking down white supremacy, they're single-handedly ending white supremacy in America, I want to know. I want some details. I want to know what their criteria for being a white supremacist is. And I'll go first. Dressing up in all black, including hoods. That's a good indication, because that's exactly what the Klan used to do, is dress up in all white with hoods, refusing to be identified. That's a good one, because they were just members of the community, just like Antifa is. The Klan was members of the community. They were police officers. They were city council. They were just basic citizens. The Klan was made up of many different levels of power. They were just members of the community, refusing to be identified. That was the reason for the hood. They couldn't be identified, right? Because if you're identified, then you can be held accountable for your actions. They intimidate and bully minorities. And that's what the Klan did. And that's what Antifa does. And Antifa takes it one step further, because not only are they intimidating and bullying minorities, they're intimidating and bullying anybody who disagrees with them. So they don't really care. I'm just saying that the minorities are included in that. They don't stop there. Men, women, children of all races, creeds, and colors who don't agree with them or their narrative, they're intimidating and they're bullying. They throw bombs, pepper gas. They make their own weapons. And really, the ATF should be involved in this, because why are they altering these weapons that are now, we don't even know what they are exactly. They burn things down. And they may not be burning a cross. They may not be burning, but they're burning buildings down. They're catching fire to buildings with people who are still in the buildings. And last but not least, they get away with it. So I would like to see their criteria for a white supremacist, because this is my list. This is my criteria for a white supremacist. And Antifa checks off every single one of those boxes. So when it comes, and still, even though they are horrible, horrible humans, they do not care about minorities. They are still not my number one problem. They are a huge problem in this city, but they're not my number one problem. Our leaders and their corruption are our number one problem. Because if our leaders had it right, if Kate Brown was focused more on making the streets of Portland safe instead of mandating all this crazy nonsense and overreaching from her government position, if people like Teresa Rayford would stop pandering to people who don't agree with her, to people who aren't anti-God, and walking around calling herself an anti-fascist, if she spent less time trying to pander around and get the facts, I'd like to sit down before her and let her give me her list of why the Yellow Jackets are white supremacists. I want to see the list. I want to see her criteria. And then I want full-on examples of what has happened. Because so far, not only have I come out and I've spoke against Antifa and shared the facts about it, but I have video footage evidence. And I also have firsthand accounts. I also have the actual victims. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So if you want to talk about white supremacy, yeah, I'll talk about white supremacy with you. Let's go all in. Let's dig in, and let's start with you giving me your list of criteria for a white supremacist, because you're going to stop weaponizing white supremacy. They call me and my husband white supremacists. What level of dumb do you have to be to call us white supremacists? Do you really believe that we are so stupid and so incapable that we would literally fight for a random race to have power over more power over everybody? The Bible says that no one cares about you more than you. That's why we're lovers of ourselves. Like, we will do whatever we can to survive. That's what we do. It's human nature. Why on earth would we fight for a random race to have more power and supremacy over us? This is a problem. This is the problem with liberals, is it's almost like they're jealous that we know. It's not that we just believe. We know without a doubt that we are equals and that we belong and we are confident. It's almost like they're jealous of that. It just grates their nerves that we're not withering in this poor me situation. It's everybody else's fault. It's almost like they're jealous that we don't live that way, that our minds don't work that way. And it's troubling, and I feel sad for them. I feel very sad for them, for anybody who lives in that. And then you've got the people, like, I don't know if you guys have seen BCP's video where that one racist white man called him a token black man. Hey, first of all, I want to explain something, and I want to make this very clear. Okay, I don't travel much, but since my husband travels all over the place, he's taken me a few places, and I went to Washington, D.C. a few times last year. And one of the first things I noticed was, where were all the white people? That's what I questioned. I was looking around. They were everywhere. They were the clerks. I mean, they were holding all the job positions. Like, they were everywhere. They were the homeless. They were on the streets. They were everywhere. And I'm like, where are all the white people? And he's explaining to me that it's just a different demographic, right? And so here in Portland, where I was born and raised, the white people are everywhere. They hold majority of the job positions. You see their faces the most. They're the homeless population. The homeless population is made up of 80% white people. So about that white privilege, I'm pretty sure those white people would disagree. But it's the demographic. So in this area, if we have a group of friends, likely there's going to be one or two minorities among a majority of white people. That's because of the demographic. It's just the ratio. That's how this area works. If we were to go somewhere else, you might see the white people be the minority among a black group of friends or minorities. It's it let's use some common sense here, people. It's logic. It's logic. It's data. You can't, not everything is about white supremacy. It's not about that. And how is he being called a token black man in the midst of this demographic? What made him think that it was okay to say that? And the woman who's driving him around is wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. I want to tell you this, and I want you to remember it. Anybody who has a Black Lives Matter anything on, that's for them. That is just for them. When they get up in the morning and they're thinking about what they're going to wear for the day, they choose that because they want to feel good about themselves. That's why they're putting it on. It's not because they actually care about Black lives. Because if they did, Black conservatives would count. And we've had Damian Bunting on on BCP's show several times, and even he admitted that conservative Black lives would not matter. We would not get the same procession. Like if we were to die, we would not get the same procession, the same love. We would get nothing from the Black Lives Matter movement that a liberal Black individual would get. We would not. It's simple truth. So when they get up in the morning, they put on this stuff, they put on their mask to make themselves feel better. I don't know if they're drowning in white guilt or whatever is going on in their life, but it's not because they care about me or my babies or anything, because they want to kill babies in the womb. Not right this second. Just wait. They're anti-God. They're pro-Klan because they support them. They not only do they support them, but they support them in word and deed, but they help them out with money and providing them with tools and equipment and supplies. I don't believe in virtue signaling and CRT. I don't believe in any of that. So the woman who was with the guy wearing the Black Lives Matter shirt, and she was just in the school board meeting, and she was talking about how critical race theory wasn't about race at all. And she said, it's more like cultural response training. And I thought, oh, that's convenient. You just renamed it so that it fit your narrative. And then I told her, I said, listen, she just said critical race theory wasn't about race. And so I went up to her and I said, listen, the next time we have a school board meeting, why don't you not make this about race and leave that stupid shirt at home? I don't have to do what you say. That was her response. I don't have to do what you say. I'm like, no, you don't have to do what I say. You can come here and make yourself look like a complete fool next time too. That's totally fine by me. Whatever works. It was in the same, and I don't know how many of you are friends with me on Facebook, but I posted a picture of her in that Black Lives Matter shirt, and then also these two liberals that were behind me. And while the one lady was speaking, I was disagreeing with her because it sounded like complete absurdity. And the two liberals behind me were like, no, you don't need to respond. And then the one woman started petting my arm almost as if to soothe me, because I was angry with what the lady was saying. She was trying to soothe me. And I said, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I don't understand why people always feel like they can just come up to me and touch me. And it's like this They feel like I need to be soothed. You know, I'm not an animal. I have a position and I believe in my position, and I will debate my position with you and have no problem with that. I'm not going to be easily swayed. I'm not going to be tossed to and fro like a wave in the wind. That's not me. And her husband pipes up and goes, hey, back off. Okay, so hold on. You just manipulated this whole situation. I'm disagreeing with her. You're trying to soothe me out of my disagreement. I tell you to keep your hands to yourself, and your husband tells me to back off? Come on. Are you kidding me right now? This is how they operate. It's just bizarre to me. It's just absolutely bizarre. I don't fully understand who raised them. I don't understand who raised them, because it's like, didn't your mom ever tell you to keep your hands to yourself? Why are you out there trying to soothe people out of their disagreement? Like, I can disagree with you and be perfectly fine. It's not like I was out there, threatening lives. So ridiculous. Okay, so that was kind of what I wanted to say. That was what I wanted to share today. Thank you, Deep South Jody. I don't see myself as a hero at all. But I'm willing to stand up. That is the way my legal immigrant family and I were raised. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad that, you know what, to be honest with you, let me just say this. I did not know. First of all, I didn't wake up that Friday thinking that this was going to happen. I didn't know that, millions of people from coast to coast and outside, even across the seas, were going to hear my voice. I mean, I was frustrated because my local news wouldn't cover my story. I mean, if the local news had covered my story, it just would have been, just the few people around here. It would have been like a, 10 to 12 second segment, and they would have put on what they wanted to put on. It wouldn't even have really been the full truth of what happened, And so here I am, frustrated that a few people in my town won't hear me say a cut version of truth, right? And all of a sudden, the whole world is hearing the truth of what happened around here. And I'm just completely baffled that so many people, one, believe me, because, we're dealing with a lot of people who are walking around. And I don't know if anybody saw my original video where I actually documented during the attack. And at the end, I started screaming because I was so mad as I was looking around. Like, we're just now in the middle of this attack, and I'm looking around, and all these people are just walking around, going about their day. Like, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. They don't care, staying in their own lane. Like, it's no big deal, And I'm like, I don't fully understand that. And I started screaming, like, how do you not know this? Like, what are you doing? Wake up, And so once people started seeing the video and things happening, I really didn't know that so many people would believe me. I was just like so frustrated in getting the truth out there. I didn't really know if people were going to believe me. I didn't really expect it. And like, all these messages are pouring in, and it's like, oh my gosh, my heart is so full that so many people are like, yes, finally, like, I'm not the only one who's been living it. I'm not the only one who's been frustrated by it. I'm not the only one who's wished that people would see, so that is absolutely amazing to me. I absolutely am. Yes, I am full through and through. I am an American. I am absolutely blessed to have been born on this soil. There's no other place. There's places I'd like to visit, but there's no other place that I would like to live full time. Like, I'm glad I wasn't, for instance, I'm glad I wasn't born and raised in Afghanistan. Do you know what they do to women over there? I know you guys been watching the news. Women are nothing over there. Women are killed if they're caught being taken advantage of. It's the woman's fault. Like, really? How much more covered can you get? You know, it's like, that's not the problem. But I'm just saying, like, how is it her fault? You know? I am so glad that I was born and raised on this soil. And I'm super thankful for that. Yes, they hate that I am a child of God. Absolutely. I am free indeed. How does it work attacking anyone black physically and verbally while wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt? Yeah. You know, they're so delusional, Julie. It just is, they don't even, they have no answers. They have no reasons. It's just nothing makes sense about anything that they do. Their way of life is completely twisted and warped. I think for myself, and they hate that, yes. Oh, I'm so sorry you have a migraine, Gigi. I'm so sorry. I pray that healing will come fast for you. Migraines are no fun. The left are white supremacists. Absolutely. A lot of them are. They love to wear their costumes. Okay, see you guys later. One race, absolutely. Okay. I'm trying to see if you have any questions or anything. The Klan also killed whites and Republicans. You are absolutely right, Tiny. And let me tell you this. So my mom is the white part of me. And she has actually experienced 100 times more racism than I have in my life. She experienced it because of my brother and I. Because you have to remember that back in the day, interracial relationships and marriage and procreating was not popular. If you remember, they used to call people the N-word lovers. Like, that was the thing. So I know they talk about Nazi sympathizers now, and they call different, like, people have telling me that I'm a neo-Nazi sympathizer. And I said, absolutely not. That's why I crashed their fake woke press conference, you know? But that's what they were called then. And they killed people who, the Klan would kill people and burn down their houses and hang them and whip them and do things right alongside of minorities that they didn't consider people. So that's exactly what's happening now. And we see this. So again, just add that to the criteria of a white supremacist, and I'll tell you what, the Democrats are the ones who are lining right up with it. Yes. Who cares what? Yep. They are definitely cowards. Yes. Thank you. I'm so thankful for Newsmax, Melissa. That was super, super exciting. Good criteria for white supremacists. Yeah. And if you just keep thinking about it, keep thinking about what a white supremacist would be. Like, you know, what would they do or not do? Like, I had who people call white supremacists in our town give me this. It says, Jesus loves you, in yellow. Because they know me. They know that I'm a Jesus girl, right? And they gave me that because they know me. The only thing Antifa has ever given me is strife, bombs, pepper gas, spray paint, verbal lashings, verbal abuse, name calling, hit pieces, slander, character defamation. I mean, I can keep going, but those are the gifts that Antifa has given me. The other side gave me this because they know me and they care. And I'm supposed to believe that I'm being used because I believe in Jesus and I'm fighting for the things that I want. And that's called being you. Like, it just isn't. I mean, don't let them gaslight you. Don't let them gaslight you. My message is not changing. Now, if something is to happen and they start changing into my criteria, then I'll start going, hey, that doesn't look right. I highly doubt that's going to happen. I'm not a betting woman, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. Yes, whatever they threw at us on August 7th had some sort of burning agent because it bruised Julie's arm to the bone and it caused blisters that showed up immediately. And the fact that it bruised your bone meant that it was something very hard. And I heard, oh my gosh, guys, if you haven't subscribed to Mary Todd, this YouTuber came out of nowhere, I don't know, and started making videos about different Antifa events and stuff like that. And the stuff is super informative. And you know what it shows? It almost frustrates me to the point of just, ugh. They take the different footage from different streamers and kind of analyze it. And then they put it up there so that I guess we can analyze it. But what totally blows my mind is if a random YouTuber can do that, can you please tell me what the police are doing? Somebody? Any law enforcement officers? Please tell me what you're doing and why you can't do the same. I'm not really understanding. I'm totally baffled. Go to Mary Todd on YouTube. Look it up. It even shows, so one of the latest videos was from August 22nd, the thing we just had, and it hones in on some of the weapons that Antifa has been using. And bombs that they are actually making, or bombs that have been altered somehow, things have been added to it. Or so something that hit Julie's arm was hard. And I was told that they're adding batteries to it or something like that, which would make sense because whatever hit her had to have been hard, solid, because it formed an instant welt. I mean, the welt, you couldn't see it on my video because it hadn't really produced much color yet. It was just a welt, but the welt was a good height and it was instant and it was big. It was like the size of an egg that was just coming out from her arm, protruding from her arm. But then she also had a bunch of blisters on her hands and I think on her feet because of the spray. Can you imagine? That did that to a grown woman's arm. Can you imagine if that had hit my child, my 8-month-old child, in her face? Her face. Here's a fun fact. When babies are born, in order to, I'm getting emotional because I just can't even, every time I think about it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what if? And when the guy screamed, "Where's your God now?" God was there. He was watching everything that happened that day. And he saved my child. I believe that without a doubt. When babies are born, in order to make it through the canal, and I've had 6 babies, I know there's probably some labor and delivery nurses out there who know the same thing. In order to make it through the canal, a baby's skull actually isn't, it overlaps. It overlaps. The bones overlap in order for them to make it through the canal. And so then it comes back, and have you ever heard of baby soft spots? So they have a soft spot at the top, and they have a soft spot at the back, and it's because the bones then, as time goes on, and some of them take up to 18 months to close, the bone continues to grow and sutures together and forms that really solid skull. But in the time before those soft spots, because you can actually, and sometimes you can actually, freaks me out when I had one, I can't remember which one it was, but I actually saw it pulsating, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my child? When they were, infants, and the doctor was like, that's normal, just as long as it, there was different things to watch out for, but you could actually see it pulsating because there's no bone there. There's no bone. That's why it's really, you need to be really careful because that's a very vulnerable spot of a baby's head up front and in the back. So we're talking about a skull that's not even fully solid yet. Another fun fact is babies aren't born with kneecaps. So there's that. But that's a side note. But so the skull isn't even like super solid yet, right? Can you imagine a solid projectile like a battery? We don't know what size. It could have been a AAA, a AA, a C, a D, slamming into a child's face, their eye. Oh my gosh. It's just, it's so much to just think about. Like, I just can't even. God was there. And that guy was a jerk for even saying that. Because they're anti-God. They're anti-God. And that's why they were most certainly chanting Hail Satan. Like I said, the video footage shows that. And anybody who watched my press conference on Mary Todd, they actually took my press conference, crash and dash, and they inserted the video evidence of a couple of things I said. One being them saying Hail Satan right after the guy from Antifa, who was most likely there, dressed up in all garb with his white supremacist self, saying that I was lying. They inserted the video footage of them chanting Hail Satan from that day. Then I said that they beat up a transgender individual, and I laid out the scenario that I watched live, because we know our live streamers had been down there all last year before Antifa started realizing, crap, they're catching us in the act. So they started telling them they couldn't come, but this got caught on video, and Mary Todd inserted it right where I was saying it. I was stating it because it's truth, because I'm not lying. So it's really neat, guys. I mean, it's heartbreaking and it's hard to watch. I'm not saying that's not, because it is. It's definitely hard to watch. But it's interesting to see how they break down these things. So, okay. Oh, OANN. Oh my gosh, I saw Dan Bell. I didn't see the whole thing, but a friend sent me a piece of it where he called out the news agents like CNN and Fox and Rachel Maddow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. They called him out. Oh, that was amazing. Dan Bell, right? Is that it? He was awesome. Calling him up. Okay. Let's see. They don't have minds. They're programmed. They really are programmed. Well, but also, yes, they're programmed. We're always going to have that group of people who are programmed, but we're also going to have that group of people who really do fight for those things like abortion and anti-God and war and the Klan and virtue signaling and CRT. We're really going to have, that's the Democratic platform right there. Go look it up. They don't care about school choice. They don't care about lives, or they don't care about the science when it comes to life. Even though science shows life begins at conception, they don't follow the science on that. So that's the Democratic platform right there. They write it out for us. They absolutely write it out for us. Planned Parenthood. They support Planned Parenthood, full funding. Democrats oppose public school vouchers and other policies that divert taxpayer-funded resources away from public school system. They don't want people to be able to go to charter schools or pick the school that they want to send their kids to, especially when it comes to like inner cities where schools, the property tax are so low, the schools aren't getting any money. So people want to be able to take their kids somewhere else to a better school. Democrats don't support that. That's their platform. So these people aren't even, there's some are programmed, but some actually do believe in this. And I think sometimes it's a lack of education about what these things really mean for their daily life. Because it's easy to say, oh, well, that doesn't really affect me, but it really does affect you. And sometimes I think that it's a lack of education in that. But you know what? It's not like everybody's not able to do this. Like I love to read. I'll look up. I printed out the Republican platform and the Democratic platform for my teenager to read, because I said, you know what? I want you to look at this, and I want you to be the judge about which one of these lines up with your values and your morals. I don't ever want my children to be a follower of Christ or be a Republican or be a conservative just because I said so. That's not how we raise our children. We want our children, sorry, the baby's not very happy, so I'm going to have to cut this off in a second. But we want our children to be informed. We want them to know why they're conservative. We want them to know why they vote Republican or whatever they vote. We want them to be able to hold that conversation and defend their faith and explain. We don't want them to be the woman who had no idea why she was there, why she was holding the sign, and then she wanted to list off all the African American funds that she's donated to. Like, that doesn't make you not racist. That makes you feel good. And I'm not saying that donating to people who are black is only making you feel good. I'm saying, because you can donate to whatever you want. What I'm saying is, if that's what you're doing to just prove you're not racist, that's not proof that you're not racist. It's not how that goes. So anyways, yeah. So I don't ever want my kids to be in that position. I want them to understand exactly why they're doing what they're doing, why they believe what they believe. That is true Christianity. That is having a true relationship with the Lord. When you know why. It's not just because your parents said so. That's not acceptable. Sex education. You know, the Democratic Party thinks that it's okay to educate kindergartners about inappropriate sexual activity. As far as I'm concerned, like, I don't agree with that. But do a lot of liberals know that that's what's going on? I think a lot of them are totally clueless, but there are some who agree with it. So they're not all programmed. Some of them are actually lunatics by choice, which is super, super weird. Projection of self-loathing, absolutely. We need to spread love, not hatred. It's hard even in New Hampshire. Yeah, it's hard this is an isolated incident to hear. You're going to find this in many different areas of the world, really, and of our country. Racism and hatred is always going to be alive. It's never going to go away, regardless. But I'll tell you what, the only people who benefit from actual race wars. Okay, but go out for now, okay? And you don't have a shirt on, so go ahead. The only people who ever benefit from race wars are the left. Those are the only people who benefit from race wars. We never do. How do we benefit from race wars? Let's see here. Eternal lives matter. Absolutely, Tamara. I totally agree. Because ultimately, that's the freedom we're fighting for. That's the ultimate thing is, it's going to be less about the, that's why I've been talking a lot about liberal versus conservative rather than Democrat versus Republican, because, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to our conservative values and our faith in Jesus alone. That's really what it's going to come down to. That's why we're going to die, for our faith. Let's see. Hypocrisy, absolutely. No common sense. Yeah. There's a lot of conversations going on Facebook, but there's a lot of I know there's threads and stuff, so I don't know what's going on there. They call it virtue signaling now. Yes, it is virtual. It is virtue signaling. Welfare. Yeah. Welfare is, I'm not like a big welfare supporter. Okay, so I am, but I'm not. I am for when you actually need the help. The welfare system should be the church. The church should be the welfare system. They should be helping and lifting up people who are in need for a period of time to get them back on their feet so that they continue on. The government welfare system is horrible, absolutely horrible. And people become government dependent. And, that's obviously not good. So a lot of people know, I've said this many times, but we're a one-income family. we're a one-income family. Complete mess. But it's not, and we don't receive any state assistance. No insurance, no nothing from state by choice. Because with 10 people, we could pretty much qualify for the rest of our life for welfare if we wanted to. Probably both TANF, which is money, and food stamps. We could likely qualify, and for insurance for the rest of our lives because we have so many kids, right? But we choose, and we were on it for a time, years back, because when we were first married, we made nothing. We made like $12,000 a year. It was crazy. Super hard in the beginning. And we did receive welfare at the time. But then we actively chose not to anymore once each year we were getting better, right? So even though it's been super hard for, a long time, we choose not to because we want to be independent. We want to do it ourselves. And we can do it ourselves, and we have the freedom to do it ourselves. And we have to make sacrifices in different areas, right? But that's okay because you are more, it's easier to be, what am I trying to say here? You're more proud of your accomplishments when you do it yourself. There's nothing really to be proud of when you don't do it yourself, when the government's done it all for you. So do I agree with it for a time? Sure. If you really need it, if you're like in a really desperate spot, absolutely. And I don't knock people for I'm not trying to shame anybody for being on welfare. What I'm saying is I just feel like it's really misused, right? And so that's kind of my outlook on that. And I also think now there should be drug tests to receive it. So that's my opinion. What do I think their end game is? Well, they've become these vigilantes, and I know that a lot of our leaders are Antifa supporters, and I think, I need to formulate a better answer for this, because what is the end game to calling random people? I think it's control. I think it's definitely control. There's that. And, there's a lot of people definitely benefiting off the BLM movement. I mean, they're monetarily benefiting and benefiting in other ways. So, like funding, like I just signed up for this thing called Linktree. And hold on one second. I'm so sorry, guys, to be interrupting like this. Okay, sorry. So, that's part of being a mom. That's part of being a mom. That's my day. That never changes. So thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Let's see here. I can't remember what I was saying, so let me just go back into this with this. What was their end game? Control. That's kind of where can you find BCP show? He's at the Black Conservative Preacher on YouTube, and the BCP Live on Facebook, and then there's Twitch, BCP, or BC Preacher. I'll have to put it in let's see. Does anybody have links for his thing? Because I don't think when I type, it doesn't really go out to everybody. God compels us to act on his behalf. Absolutely, deplorable patriot, because you know what? I did not ask to be there. All I did, over the years, I've been asking to be used. I wasn't sure what that would look like. And then all of a sudden one day, years down the line, that happened. So yes, he does compel us in many ways. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for all the support and the compliments. And there's a lot of comments, and I've gotten really behind. So yeah, Antifa is just an idea. Remember that, though. Antifa is just an idea, not reality. Not reality is all. Yes, please go subscribe to Mary Todd. That's all you got to type in is Mary Todd. That's all it's called. I don't know if that's like a person or what's going on, but it's really easy to find. So that's a good thing. Oh, Patricia, you can relate to sharing about what my mom went through. Yeah. Back in the 80s. Yeah, I was born in 81. They were cast aside in ugly, vile ways by white and black. Yep. Very sadly, the church. Absolutely. I praise God for all he has done in our lives. All we went through as a family is being used for his glory. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. All these things, it's like that tapestry that I talk about. The tapestry of our lives. All those threads are meticulously woven by the Lord, and we can't necessarily see the big picture, especially if you're working and all you see is the back of the tapestry and you're like, oh, this is so ugly. This is so dire. This is so not worth it. But then when you flip that over and you see the front of the tapestry and it's like, it takes your breath away. And, you know what? I think I'll post like some pictures of tapestries on my Facebook so you can see what I'm talking about, because it's just absolutely amazing. And that's how I see life. Yes, PJ saw it. Okay, yes, you saw it like literally happening. Julie's arm happening. Yep. And she couldn't move, and she said it was burning. Yeah, all that. It was crazy. Happening right before your eyes. You can see your grandson's soft spot pulsating. He's 6 months old. Yeah, it's super, super weird when you first see it, but then once you know it's still super, super odd, because you're like, man, there's like that super exposed spot of a baby's head. They're definitely evil. They need to be held accountable. Absolutely. Yeah, please refuse to watch the local news because you'll just be poisoned. They're nothing but poison. Lisa Marie Hill, it's called Mary Todd. And I know I'm super behind on answering that. Yeah, Mary Todd names the streamer in her YouTube. Yeah. Many of the faces have been shown that attack us. So what is the city and the police and the investigators doing? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And the fact that they named the streamer actually is almost a good thing. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like it, but it is, because that, again, gives the police no excuse not to know where to find this information. You know what I mean? What if that streamer has more footage that they could show that could give more insight as to what went down? There's more of us than them. Yeah, but a lot of us, for some reason, I don't know if I really want to get into that right now, because it always comes around. It always comes across bad when I talk about why the numbers aren't coming out. And even on Sunday, I was like, why aren't there more people here? Like, just come out. And I invited people myself. Even, I'm going to put this out there, because I've talked a lot about flag waves and the part that they play in building the boldness and the confidence and understanding kind of how these events work and getting to know people, so when something more intense comes around, you know what, if you don't want to come to, one of the more popular events that could turn into something more, start with the flag wave. But even still, if you do want to come to these other events, stand along the outside and just watch. You don't have to be involved. Just watch. You will not understand the impact that seeing Antifa in action, in person, will have on your life. I kid you not. You will see that they are always unprovoked. They attack unprovoked. Let that sink in. Every time. And if you just watch from the outside, you don't have to be involved. Pick a spot, just like the police do, in your car, and sit and watch. And you will see that they are unprovoked. You would have seen on August 22nd, if the people would have come that I invited, they would have seen that these people decided we were white supremacists and needed to be stamped off the map. We needed to be stopped from smiling and having a good time because, by goodness, white supremacists are not going to have a good time in this city. That's what Antifa decided by their criteria, which nobody knows what that is. They drove 10 miles and attempted to drive a white van into the parking lot that we were in, unprovoked. They attempted to drive a van into the parking lot that we were in. They got dressed and parked in a high school parking lot across the street from where we were at on the back side. They got dressed, marched over, used their van, and attacked us unprovoked. You would have seen that firsthand. And no news would have been able to sway what you saw unless you let them gaslight you and let you believe that what you saw wasn't really what you saw. But you will not understand the impact that seeing what they do face to face will have on you. Fly out here. There's people who fly in from all kinds of places for one of these events. Don't come to participate. Come to watch with your own eyes. And I'll tell you, it will not be the same. When you experience it in person, you're not going to, there's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. Okay. My child, she is not having it. So, mom life. I'm going to have to get off here and get going. So glad that the young people are standing up. Yes, Fran Beck, thank you. Let's see, the world, make it interesting. That would make an interesting tea. Tapestry related. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. Because I love talking about that. Okay, awesome. I'm sorry if I missed, questions and stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I'll try and come on again. And we're actually going to be on, who's Lincoln's wife? Is that another YouTube channel? I don't know who Lincoln is. Meadows, I don't know who Lincoln is. And I don't know who Mary Todd is. I just found the website or found the YouTube randomly. Like, I don't know who posted it. I don't even know how that came up actually. People keep saying there is no video of the van actually trying to run people over. I argue until I'm blue in the face. Okay, I don't know if I've seen the video of the van actually trying to run people over, but I can tell you this. How would we have gotten video footage if it came out of nowhere? Like, explain this to me. Say we provoked these people to drive a van into the parking lot. So we would already be videotaping, right? So it wouldn't have caught us off guard. Everybody would have had it on video if that was the case. Oh, no way. That's who Mary Todd is? Okay, yeah. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. I'm totally Abraham Lincoln's wife. Abraham Lincoln's wife. Thank you, Fran. I did not know that. I was super ignorant to that fact. So, yes, that's exactly why you can't reason with them, because it doesn't mean their arguments make no sense. Like, if we had provoked them to do that, everybody would have already been videotaping. Everybody. We would have seen it happen on video, the whole entire thing. But because it happened without provocation, we had no idea it was going to happen. We weren't ready. There might not be specific video on that piece. So, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't, at this point, we already see that even when we do get it on video, they don't care. They still say the same thing. They still have the same argument. So, anyways, it It is what it is. Okay. I'm going to go and hold my baby, get her fed, and maybe take a nap. I'm tired. We are going to be, I was on the, if you guys are interested, I was on the Conservative Daily podcast yesterday with Joe Altman. And he was, that was a full hour. We got to talk about, kind of went into some deeper things. It wasn't quite as rushed. And then also Truth Slingers with the Beard Vet. And you can find them on Patriot TV. Patriot.tv, or no, patriottv.live. I need to get these things figured out. patriottv.live. So Patriot TV, Conservative Daily with Joe Altman, and then Newsmax, and we're going to be on with another individual, Steve Iman. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right. I hate not knowing what it is exactly. Let's see. And that's not going to let me get into it. Okay. So I'll have to look that up, and I'll post everything if you guys are interested in watching any of those. So had some really good conversations with all those guys. It was really fun. So, okay. Thank you for joining me today, guys. And I will see you again soon. And remember, today is the day of salvation. So if you haven't yet, choose Jesus. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.